What's up?
Yo, what's good?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good.
Man. You know what? This is going to be crazy what we're about to do here. We're about to just level the game over here. Like we're bringing something new. Like, this is a whole new type of show on a new platform. We're about to just look, this one is free. Like I'm telling you right now, we're giving this one out. We're giving this one away. Because pretty soon we got to get behind that paywall, bro, because the content we about to release out here, man.
Yeah, these streets aren't ready, bro.
Yo, if they thought Andrew Tate was bad.
We're coming for you. We're coming for you, Andrew.
Salute to you, Tate, but the shit we about to say. Let me just say. But you know what? Let's get into this bullshit, man. What the fuck is with these ratchet ass hoes? Right? Playing these damn games, trying to ruin men's lives, take their money by pinning a kid that don't belong to them on them. Yeah, and celebrating it. They celebrating it.
They do. They high five each other, right? I think they learned that one when they were in grade school with playing that game, Pin the Tail on the Donkey.
Yeah, like watch. You know what? You sent me this video earlier, and I was like, you sent me this video a couple of days ago, and I'm like, yo, we got to do this one. We got to do this one. This one doesn't hit home. Like, I don't know nobody that's been through that, but you know what? Shit, just the thought of it,
terrifying.
Yeah, it's like every man's worst nightmare. But you know what, you guys, for you guys that are at home watching, we gonna just throw on the video and we gonna get into it. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Gotcha. Watch that one more again. Here we go. Gotcha. I mean, if you ever wanted to know what the devil looked like,
there she was, right there, bro.
Absolutely,
man. I to be that evil, there's no other word, man.
I mean, like it just shows how malicious and vindictive women could be. Like they could truly be, right? Like who would think see, and they talk about equality, right? You know what I'm saying? Like they got that game unlocked. Like if you want to talk about what rights they have that men don't have, they got the right to be able to pin a paternity case on you and you have nothing to say about it.
It's that feminine or that female mystique, brother.
Man, would you say that word was? You said that's some big ass.
Oh man, yeah. Objective. I can't even say it. I knew you were going to throw me that.
But you know what? Like they don't think like there's a consequence to the bullshit.
No, you know the terrifying thing, brother. The terrifying thing with that clip that you just shared twice is that girl's living with that guy. Right?
Yeah, that was her husband. No, it's her ex-husband now.
Yeah, but he's paying child support for a kid that wasn't even his.
Yep.
Let that sink in for a second. And she's on TikTok
bragging about it.
Capping.
Bro, they're we're so bold, we could make fun of we could celebrate our shit publicly and ain't nothing gonna do about it. They ain't gonna do nothing about it.
No, they can't. That's the thing, right? Is if you're a man, if you got a dick and balls, the system is stacked against you, gents.
Absolutely.
And Glenn, melt their minds right now. Who stacked the system?
Hey, fellas, guess who stacked the system? The answer is the men did, Alex. For 500. You know what I'm saying?
$5 million.
Seriously, but here's the thing. I think when they initiated and implemented child support and alimony, I think they probably did it because legitimate reasons. I think there was enough legitimate cases that were like, you know what, we need to put this in place because we got dudes maybe dipping out or, whatever the case is, finding the younger, hotter, tighter. And you know what, he started a new life with this, new girl. And, he didn't want to take care of business with his old girl. I don't know. I'm not saying that's all the cases, but I'm thinking there had to be enough cases to where it wasn't just like, oh, my husband died for natural causes. There had to be enough cases where dudes skipped town type of thing to where they were like, all right, we have to, the state can't continue to afford to pay these girls and take care of the women and the children now if the guys are gone.
Yeah,
so I think there was some legitimate reasons.
Yeah, man, the decent human being to shitbag ratio was way out of proportion.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I think they had legitimate causes to implement them. But what they never did is like they never established a checks and balance type of system in there. So it's like now it's still unchecked. You know, like there's no saving. And you know what the fucked up thing is like, you know what? These are the dudes that we vote for.
Yep.
Like think about the guys that you voted for last.
Oh yeah.
I'm wondering why the fuck did the dude I vote for last have not fixed this shit yet? Exactly. I'm writing my congressman. You know, I tell them about my problems. You know, I tell them about my concerns, but like it seems like they don't even fucking care what we do or what we say.
It's amazing to me, right? And you want to hear the real terrifying thing about this whole thing. This girl can put this out there on TikTok and basically big dick the world. And she is basically saying, hey, I am scamming this man. And nobody can do anything. And it's because the family court system is completely unregulated.
Oh, absolutely. You know what's even worse is like, why is it not a federal crime for fraud? Like there's tons of federal crimes for fraud. You could fraud the federal government. And guess what? Your ass goes to prison and you have to pay a whole lot of money when you get out. Yeah. Oh, but when it comes to paternity fraud, like, nah, man, it's just that dude's problem, not our problem. It's his problem. It doesn't affect us at all.
Yeah, it's no big deal, right? You know, it's only money in the end.
Whose money?
Exactly.
Whose livelihood? Like it's so much. Hey, you know what? What's worse is like, hey, you could be paying child support for a kid that ain't even yours biologically. After the paternity test comes back, and you could submit it and be like, look, judge, it ain't my kid, so stop bugging me for the payments. Go find the father. Exactly. And the judge could be like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to make you pay still. You owe back pay.
Yeah, and what was that? What we were talking about that before the show, and it was, you said it was time as a family. It was, and
yeah.
What was that word that was?
Gosh, so it's like shit. So basically,
man. It's like objection. It's like my word. I can't say it now.
Yeah, it's so basically I could at least describe it though.
Let's go.
Basically, what happens is like, let's say that you assume that the child is yours. Okay. You didn't think that your wife had any infidelity going on. And then, you know what? Come to find out, you know, years down the road, she did. But because you were parading that baby like it was yours, because you believed it was yours, you're pushing it in the car, in a stroller, you're burping it, you're showing everybody, this is my son, this is my daughter, whatever the case
Soccer
is.
games, all that stuff.
Because you were acting and taking on the role as a father. And it passed 300 days. The average is you get 300 days after the baby's born to request paternity. And so once you go past the 300 days, you are stuck, regardless if the paternity says you're not the father or not.
Man, could you imagine just like, man, first off, you're getting crushed because your girl went behind your back. Number two, you're going to get smashed by the family court system and be forced to pay. Basically, that is like, it's like blackmail, or like, what would you call that? That's like
getting raped publicly, and then getting raped again.
Yeah.
Every month when they take that child support out, it's like another dick just coming straight up your ass for no reason.
Bro, and it's no wonder that so many guys, you know, they discover, you know, the red pill, and they discover, you know, the manosphere, and they discover all these different aspects of, you know, the things that we talk about, because there's a lot of guys that are going through a lot of fucked up shit.
Yeah. Like, look, you know what? Just that you mentioned that, I'm going to share his video, yo.
Let's go.
About this dude that he went through some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Wild and unbelievable stories here in Detroit.
This is one of them. Imagine being told to pay child support for a kid that is not yours or go to jail. That was the order the state handed down to a Detroit man.
So today he turned himself in, but here's what happened when 7 Action News reporter Kim Russell went with him to court.
Carnell Alexander walked into the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice knowing in moments he could lose his freedom.
I stayed up all night, couldn't sleep, thinking about it.
Carnell is a wanted man because he refuses to do what.
Hey, real quick though, why does he look like a pimp?
He's a player, man. That's awesome. You know,
he's like, look, where are my bitches? Where's my bitches? Don't worry, I'll get you that child support money. Let me call my bitches.
The terrifying thing about this whole thing is the placard on the building says the halls of justice.
No, justice for women.
The state orders and to pay child support for a child that DNA tests prove isn't his, a child he doesn't even know.
I haven't even had a chance to really speak to him except for one time when we took the DNA test.
Nonetheless, right now, under the law, he's a deadbeat dad. Today, he turned himself in to the judge as ordered.
Scared because I've been before this judge before.
But this time he had attorney Cherika Harris, who volunteered to help after seeing his story on 7 Action News. The judge said he will not go to jail for today.
Thank you. Thank Ms. Harris. And hope that we can resolve this soon.
I'm just trying to help him with his future.
Though the threat of jail is on hold, it is not over. Carnell Alexander still owes more than $30,000 to the state for a child that's not his.
God, man.
Did you catch that? Did you catch that?
30K, baby.
So not only did he prove that he's not the father, the state is like, okay, we get it. You're not the father. But you know what? All them years that we didn't know that you were the father, we're still going to tax you on them. You still got to pay that shit.
This dude is being judged by a woman and is also being represented by a woman.
Well, it's going to take a woman to beat a woman, I guess.
I guess, man. I just
in
like
that game.
Man, I just, there's something's not right with that either. You look at situations like that, Glenn, and you're just like, how can that even happen in our system, in our society?
Yeah. Well, the question is like, why aren't paternity tests mandatory? I mean, we all know that people lie. We all know women lie. We all know men lie. Okay. And, we all know shit. They even lie in court. So if we know that people are willing to lie for their best interest, why don't we just blanketly just put mandatory paternity tests?
It would make sense, like we were discussing before the show that, it would save on welfare cost. Big time. It would definitely, because, that would actually hold gents responsible for their children, which would take the strain off the system.
It would demand accountability.
100%.
It would also, here's another thing it would also do, though. I didn't even think about this until right now. It will also require women not to be so promiscuous, because if you want child support, you have to know the father to request the DNA test from.
Yeah. And I think
so you couldn't hoe around.
Yeah, you couldn't be a hoe, man. That's gonna I think that's a thing though with this whole, the feminist movement and where women are going in general as a society. I don't see any brakes being put on that anytime soon. I can't, I don't see it. I think that these girls, first off, if it's like they won the lottery with a situation like that. Yeah. Man, it's like you're getting a bonus check or something like that.
No, they ain't just getting the motherfucking bonus check. Okay. They get in the whole bank. Okay. They get in the whole bank with this, because think about it this way. If you hooked up with a girl, right? And she found out like, man, Phil Foster got it made. He got a nice crib, man. He got a nice life. Shit. I want some of that. Who's the other white boy that I fuck? Oh, I fuck Glenn Lawrence. Okay, you know what? It might be his. You know what? Hey, Phil Foster, you the father. Yeah, you the father. And here's the stupid thing, right? Here's the dumbest shit I've heard. Like they even say there's this lawyer, right? And from I think was it Pennsylvania or Philadelphia, something like that. She went to Penn State, and she wrote a fucking like briefing, like her argument. Like, I guess I don't know if it was her final project or whatever, but her argument was basically, let me pull it up here.
Yeah, do that.
Was basically to argue against why that it shouldn't matter whether or not the biological father is involved. And it is, if the stepfather's there, they should be equally responsible. You know, like, who cares if you're not the father? Like, you know what? Pay up, pay for the child support. You know, and
You
I'm
know
like,
what?
what?
Exactly. And you know, statistically speaking, you know, for the younger guys out there, how many dudes that might watch this right here, wherever it goes, you know, TikTok, Instagram, wherever, that you're dating a chick right now and she's got a kid from another guy. And you're with her for some time, and then boom, all of a sudden you become responsible for that child, is basically what this paper was saying, correct? It doesn't matter. It doesn't necessarily matter that you created that child. It's that you became that child's father, is what this individual is saying, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to read right here. Like, this is her opening quote or whatever, right? 100 years from now, it will not matter what kind of car I drove, what kind of house I lived in, and how much money I made or had in the bank. But the world may be a little better because I was important in the life of a child. And here's the thing, is she says, she goes, those words describe the feelings many parents get from parenthood, from being part of a family, regardless whether the child is their biological offspring, stepchild, surrogate child, or adopted child. One thing that she's not mentioning here. What is the one fucking thing she's not mentioning here about these parents? What do they all have in common?
Spill it.
They all chose. They made the choice. They knew ahead of time what they were going into. These biological fathers found out that these are their children. The step parents knew that this wife came with the child. All right. The adopted parents, they picked the child.
Exactly.
Like, all of them made a choice. It was a choice. What they're trying to do in this stupid argument here is say that, you know what, you as a parent, as a citizen, as a free thinking individual, you shouldn't have the right to choose whether or not you want to be legally responsible for this child or not, regardless if it's yours.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's all about the child, not about you. Fuck you. You ain't shit. I mean,
insane.
that's exactly what she's saying here. Like, what page was it?
You know, that's, you know, here's the thing, man. I'm speaking from his experience right here, Glenn. You know, I'm an adopted child. You know, here's the thing, man. You know, I was given up for adoption. You know, I got adopted by some great people. My mom and dad, they raised me. They are my parents. When I was a young boy, like around 9 years old, they told me, hey, you know, by the way, you know, we're not your real mom and dad, but we are your mom and dad. You're adopted. And oh, by the way, it's all good, you know? And so, and they let me work through that. And that's the thing, right? Is they made that choice to adopt me. And then they also were doubly responsible and didn't hide it from me. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, this is what it says here. All right. Family, like biology, has always been understood as something outside of the child's control. A child cannot choose his family, his parents to his siblings, because biology predetermines who his family will be. As a result, biology abdicates parental responsibility in favor of a predetermined biological self. This leaves the child and the family with a non-biological parent open to biological challenges that have the effect of disrupting, disestablishing families and triggering demands for the elimination of responsibility. This family disruption occurs because when confronted with the biological truth that excludes a biological relationship with their children, fathers, as well as judges, and much of society often cannot get beyond that fact. It is as if the existing parent-child relationship dissolves before the child's eyes and the child becomes a stranger to the parent, even though the parent does not become a stranger to the child. Basically, what she's saying is like, look, it's your kids don't get to pick you. It's like, if they could pick someone else, they might have picked someone else. But shit, they got fucked and they got stuck with you.
Exactly.
So, like really? Like,
yeah, that's the thing, right? Is, you know, this right here is a blanket statement to absolve people of responsibility. Is all this is. Okay, so here's the thing. It's been known far and wide. We've beat this drum before, but I'm going to go ahead and say it real quick, Glenn. Men control relationships, control the access to a relationship. Let me go ahead and say it better. Okay, women control the access to sex. Okay, but just generally speaking, okay, there's a small margin of men that don't have that problem, but we're talking to the general guys, and you're absolutely correct. So some, and so what happens is you got a girl, and she's dating a guy, and they're getting ready to get serious, and they get serious, and then she cheats on him and gets pregnant, and then it comes out. Well, it's going to, of course, dissolve that family unit, and rightly so. And so this individual here is like, hey, we don't want that dissolving to happen in front of that child because the child's lost. Well, here's the thing. It doesn't necessarily matter. It's not my responsibility. I've carried the torch this far, but why do I need to continue to carry it if it's not my responsibility? There was infidelity. There was, it's just not mine. Now, if you go into that situation and she has that child, and you're like, hey, I'm going to get serious with you. I'm going to marry you, and I'm going to take care of you and that child. That child, of course, becomes your responsibility. But any man worth his salt is going to work with an attorney before that marriage and do a prenuptial agreement that says, hey, by the way, if things don't work out between me and her, I am not responsible for that child. And that's the problem most guys miss, is they don't necessarily think past the 6 to 8 inches between their legs.
Yeah. This is what I just highlighted right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is the most fucked up line in this whole goddamn thing I read so far.
Yeah, man. It
says children should not be disadvantaged because of the choices of their parents make. No, it's the choices of their parent. One parent made the choice. Yeah. One parent chose to lie. One parent chose to pin this paternity on another man. One parent, only one parent, chose to deceive. Okay? And that one parent that chose to be deceptive was the mother.
That's right. I mean, unless there's like some new technological breakthrough, Glenn, that says men can crap kids out. I mean, but let's face it, gentlemen. I mean, it's this kind of stuff right here. It really happens to people. First off,
this is like literally pawning off. Like it's literally putting the fault of blame on an individual that's not even a part of the situation, but at the same time, removing the only person that's responsible for the fucking problem.
Chad and Tyrone got a pass.
Hey, they got a pass, but you didn't.
Yeah, the Marks and the Mikes and all them bros out there, man, they're hurting, man. The Nathans.
And you're like, here's the other argument is like, well, they'll say like, well, how often? Like, it's not even that often that it happens. No, it actually is pretty often. Like it's 10 to 30% of men who actually question paternity, who took the test, found out that they were not the father. So you can say at least 30% of men that questioned whether or not they were the father, found out that they were not the father. That means how many men? Here's the question. So you may say like, oh, that's only 30%. That's not even 50%. That's of what we know of. What about the guys that didn't think to question until later?
They're out there.
You know what I'm saying? We don't have those figures yet because we don't even know what they are.
Yeah.
But thanks to Ancestry.com and all these other DNA testing places, people are finding out that they are not the biological father to their children when their children do these DNA tests.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about that whole thing when that popped up is it really did blow the doors off of this kind of situation. The 30%, I wanted to talk on that real quick.
Yeah.
Before you hop in on it, is it should really be 0%. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to lay that out there for you.
Why is that? Why should it be 0? Like, what the fuck?
Even though people lie and people are conniving and evil and cheat and do all the devious things that people do, because that's what they do, it still should be 0%. If, once again, I'm going to challenge guys on this. You need to be smarter than she is. You know what I mean? Quit thinking with your prick and start thinking with your brain a little bit here. Especially if there's been some red flags or anything like that in your relationship, you do not want to be raising Tyrone's son or daughter. Okay. And then if you do raise it, you don't want to be responsible for it. Okay. Now here's the thing. If you are cool with that,
you know what? She's a good girl, bro.
Oh man, girls they're all good girls.
Man, you know what? She's so sweet. She's so nice. She's like everything. Man, she's everything. Why would I even question her? Like, isn't that disrespecting her? I'm challenging her, like whether or not she's an honest person or not. How could he dare? Like, how can you ask me to do that?
It's real simple, man. It's real simple, man. Here's the thing, man. Guys just don't vet. You know what I mean? And they just, once again, are thinking with their dick. They got to get past that, man. And here's the thing, man. As society continues to progress, it's just getting worse. It'd be interesting, if we were to save this. Well, this stream's going to be out there forever. It'll be all over everywhere. In 10 years, what that percentage is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I almost want to wonder if economic rise and fall has an effect on that. The economy goes down, more lying happens, right? Less money. I can't pay for the nails, them eyelashes, that hair, all that other stuff. Oh man, I gotta
pin my baby on Phil Foster.
Oh man, I got me some child support, man. I got a bank.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's funny, like, because for me, like, I've had that happen before,
bro.
Right? Yeah. Like, I had this girl tell me, like, "Yo, I'm pregnant." I'm like, "Well, congratulations. It ain't mine." And she's like, "Well, I slept." I'm like, "It ain't mine." Okay, it definitely ain't mine. It's like, how do you know for sure? I'm like, bitch, I got fixed. Like, I got my shit. It never comes. I don't shoot nothing.
Okay? I'm not even shooting tracers.
No. This is all for show. This is all prop. This is a prop gun down here.
Prop gun, Jesus Christ. I love it, man.
You know what I'm saying? And the funny thing was, it was my ex-wife that said that to me too.
Dog.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I already had this, the whole reason why I got fixed, because I had the suspicion that something going on, but I couldn't pin it. Like, there was smoke, but no gun. And me, like, I'm like, look, I need concrete evidence before I even go that route, because I don't want to break up a family if it's just over insecurity, right? Or fear. So, but there was just enough there to make me, be like, you know what? I already got 2 kids. I'm good. I got a boy, I got a girl, like, I don't need it anymore. Mm-hmm. So I went and got fixed without her even knowing. And then when,
you held yourself accountable.
Oh, hell yeah. I said, you know what? I'm going to make sure that I'm never caught in a position to where I'm going to be questioning anything. Mm. And sure enough, like, when she told me, I was like, don't know what to tell you. It ain't mine. I don't know what to tell you. You gotta figure out who that father is, because it ain't mine.
And just think, dude, you married that woman.
This happened while we were married.
Dude, I mean, it's like, but she's a good girl.
Oh, yeah, because she's a church girl.
Yeah, you can believe them.
Yeah, they pray really good.
What's it say? Fuck love, just respect me. Is that what it says?
Yeah, it says, fuck love, give me respect.
Give me respect. There it is. That's your love language to me, baby girl.
Mm-hmm. Like, you can keep all the love. You know what? Here's the thing. And these bitches will love their men too. Like, they will truly love their men. They'll love the shit out of all your money and all the resources that you give them, and all the beta behavior that you bend over for them for. Mm. But you know what, fellas, love, that's what you give your woman. What your woman ought to give you is respect.
Amen.
Okay, so like, if you are getting a lot of love from your woman but no respect, then she got her ass backwards. And if you're giving her a lot of respect and no love, then you got it ass backwards.
Amen.
Okay, y'all playing, you slipping gender roles there. But this is what's crazy about this issue, is that, one, federally, there's no crime. It's not a crime. There's no crime.
Nothing. We found nothing.
It's like, they may be able to sue. Here's the thing. I think you might be able to sue for child support in the rears. And I think it's only as long as you could prove that it was like done intentionally.
Yeah.
Well, how can you prove that this bitch did it intentionally? Unless she is texting it or going on like the bitch did on TikTok, maybe the ex-husband of her needs to go in and go after her. I would,
yeah, man. That's, once again, guys, it's important that you guys really start thinking with your heads, because this is not an uncommon situation. It's out there. And it could be happening and you don't even realize it, and you're raising somebody else's child. Now, if you raise that child like it's your own and you don't know you're married to this person, and you raise them and you love them, and that something like that comes out, it doesn't mean you can't have access to that child. It just means you don't need to be responsible for it. The person that created that child needs to be responsible, is all we're saying.
All we're saying is the people that did the deed need to be the ones that have to take care of the aftermath of the deed. Okay, like at the end of the day, I would think, and this is the thing that kills me. You got all these women, right? All these women, they want equality. They're marching for equality that they already have. I mean, they got all the equality. I mean, shit, they got more than equality. They got more power than men do. I mean, think this right here, this situation alone right here just shows you that women can flex on men in a way that a man cannot flex on a woman, and men will still lose.
Dude, could you imagine if you saw on TikTok a dude flexing like, yeah, I totally scammed this chick and got away with it? Well, it's like they did a show on Netflix, the Tinder swindler guy.
Yeah. And they got his ass. Yeah, they made sure they got his ass.
Yeah, man, and there was a whole show, and the girls, the victim and impact statements all over it and all that stuff, and basically these hoes got played. Okay, and so rightly so, he was flexing, and he was pulling it so hard, he was taking his real woman with him on these trips. Dude, that dude had some fucking game, dude. He had
Hey, you know what? The level of his game was like astronomical. Astro-fucking-nomical.
Dude. Oh, she's just my assistant.
Damn. I mean, I think his girl was in on it, though. His girl had to be in on it. But no, the point what you're saying is like, yeah, they got a whole big-ass Netflix special. You know what guys get? They get Maury Povich. That is as far as the guys get. They get no more than that. You are not the father, and you get to dance and run off the stage. That's it. That's as far as we give you.
You got any clips of that, man?
Oh, you know what? I might. But it's funny is like what's not even funny is like sad, because like I said, these women want equality. Well, then, ladies, if you want equality, then we should be equal in all areas. So why aren't we not equal here?
Yeah, it's like this. They want to be strong and independent till it's time to go to, child support court.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. Once again, no one's saying we don't want to be responsible if it is our child. Mm-hmm. I'm not advocating for that. If you create a child with a woman and you're a man, and you don't handle your business and raise that child and provide for that child, if you can't stand the wench and she's gone, do the next best thing.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing: learn your lesson. We are not saying by any means don't be responsible, don't do the right thing. We're just saying, if it is not your responsibility, make sure you think long and friggin' hard.
I'm saying, like, look, if you just even if you think you are 100% sure, you're not 100% sure until you get a test. You're not 100% sure in anything until it's tested. Okay,
dude. I hate to say this, Glenn, because we've been hearing it for like 3 years. You ready?
Yeah.
Trust the science, bro.
Hey, you know what? In this situation,
oh man,
you better trust the science.
You have to. Because here's the thing, it's the nature of our society.
It is. I mean, it really is. It's exactly what it is. It's like, you don't know for certain anything until you get something tested. You don't know for certain anything until you have something that verifies what you know or what you don't know. So like, I mean, you get everything tested, don't you? When you go to the doctor, they test you for your own medical work, right?
100%.
Okay, when you before you buy a car, you get a Carfax, right?
100%.
What does that Carfax do? It tells you the history of that vehicle, right?
Yeah, what's going on with it? Has it been maintained? Has it been wrecked?
It's something,
Has it been,
yeah. If it's something of value to you, before you put your name on the dotted line, you get it checked out. Okay, before you put your name on that birth certificate, get that shit checked out.
Yeah, get the facts on it.
You know, I mean, the argument, here's the argument for them, like why women are saying it. One, they said it's like you're automatically calling women liars. You know,
crime.
And I'm like, well, so what's wrong with that? Bitches lie. Bitches lie.
Men lie. We all
bitches lie. Men lie. Everybody lies. So what else is new? What's new? Like, you don't think any women don't lie? I mean, how many false rape cases have there been going on?
Oh man.
I mean, Kavanaugh, right? Like, seriously. What about the girls that, cry rape at the guys in college?
Man. Because they got something going for themselves.
Yeah.
They got something going for themselves. They want a piece of that when they get shot down. I'm gonna say he raped me.
Yeah, I mean, so they come out with they lie. But what's even worse is like they come out with these ridiculous, like these are the most ridiculous excuses why we should not have mandatory paternity. And I'm going to tell you them right now. Because it says, all right, it goes, they say you're too quick to dismiss the expensive argument. Consider how much your mandatory birth paternity testing program would cost.
Less than welfare.
Hear this out. Here in the US, about 4 million children are born each year. Enforcing mandatory paternity to be administered to millions of paternity tests to millions of infants and maintaining the government record for those millions of tests would require a sizable bureaucracy. Where would the government get the funding for this? Oh, you know where? Taxes. Furthermore, it would cost up to $200 per test. So where do you think they're going to get the money for that? Taxes. Well, look, you know what it would do, right? If we have to pay for this for our taxes, they could just take that money out of welfare, because you know what? There are going to be a lot less people on welfare because we're going to know who the father is and we're going to know who's financially obligated to pay.
Preach it, man. Keep preaching.
So, like, I mean, what's the issue with that? The other thing is like, you're imposing, you're breaking privacy laws and invading the woman's privacy and doctor-patient confidentiality. Well, you know what? When it comes to a legal scenario where you are about to put another individual as financially and legally responsible for a child, I don't think you have privacy. I don't think you have no privacy at that point. If you're going to put me as down on that child's name, then guess what? I'm invading all your shit.
And rightly so.
Like,
rightly so.
I can't find a legitimate argument why women don't want it.
That's just because the game will be up, man. Party's over. The free money will be gone. And you got to understand, this is a money grab thing. This is about hooking men up to a cart and having them pull.
Ooh.
And that's all that is, brother.
Do you think it's a feminist thing?
I don't necessarily think it's a feminist thing. I think it's girls behave amorally and do things they shouldn't be doing and get themselves into trouble. And what do girls do when they get themselves in trouble? They lie and steal. They don't care. They just don't want to be in trouble anymore.
Yeah.
Well, trouble to me looks like, well, I got a kid on the way and nobody's going to help me with this. Who can I hook up with? Who can I saddle with this?
Who would be a good beta cuck?
There you go.
Cuck father. The cuck father.
Dude, that just makes me sick, man. Dude. Oh man.
And these bitches wonder why we don't trust them.
Yeah, it's not. And this isn't about bashing women, because here's the thing.
No, it's not. Like,
yeah. I don't want anybody to get confused on that either. It's like, we don't trust, and it's not. Here's the thing: you can care about a woman, you can enjoy a woman, just don't believe her. Okay, that's all I'm saying, man. There it is. The best girls, man, in the world, the diamonds are full of shit. And that's
Oh, yeah.
okay. And that's okay. You know, you got to take them for face value, and you have to quit thinking with your dick and start thinking with your head a little bit here, man. You know, and that's all we're trying to get you guys to wake up to.
And honestly, guys, I'll even tell you this: don't trust anybody. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Trust but verify with everybody. Fuck it. I don't care. You tell me the sky's blue, I'm gonna go outside and look. I'm gonna check for my goddamn self. You know, you tell me it's sunny outside, I'm gonna make sure of it before I go outside. Like, you know, trust but verify. They tell you the kid's yours. You know what? I'm gonna get that test done.
Let's find out. And here's the good thing about these paternity tests, guys. When you're listening to this right here, is you can do it 9 weeks after conception.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
so
told
it's
me
like
that.
without zero risk to the mother or the baby, or like minimal risk. So, you know, you nip that in the bud right away.
Okay, I got a
Don't
question
wait.
for you though. Here's a question.
Yo.
Hypothetically, let's say you and your lady got pregnant and had a baby. You got the first paternity test.
Mm.
It says, you are the father.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? A couple years down the road, she gets pregnant again. Are you going to demand that second paternity test?
Well, you know, I think, you know, if I was building a family and I was trying to protect my legacy, and based on the current events that what we're seeing and the knowledge that I have in this day and age, yes. Now, if you would have caught me 15 years ago, before I was aware and really awake to what this world was bringing to me.
But you don't think like it's that by like even doing that, like think about the trauma in your marriage that might cause.
You know what? She's going to understand me first and foremost. So here's the thing, you know, it's like, hey, babe, you know, I mean, I understand, but we still need to handle this business.
So like you're not going to be even thinking about it. You're putting your selfish needs first, huh?
100%.
Why are you such a selfish asshole?
Because girls love assholes. no, really, Glenn, it's just the right thing to do. You know, who's to say that, you know, even in the best marriages, man, even in the best relationships, people make mistakes. They make they aren't mistakes. Let me redact that. It's not a mistake.
It wasn't the mistake was getting pregnant.
They were poor choices. Okay. People make poor choices all the time. And so when you look at situations like that, and if you are a red pill aware man, or if you're halfway awake to what the hell's going on around you, especially for these younger guys that are under like 29. Oh, dude, you guys are screwed, man. I am so glad I am middle age.
Shit. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, Glenn, I mean, these younger guys, man, they have a long row to hoe. You know what I'm saying? Figuratively and literally.
They're going to be hoeing them hoes, man.
Jesus. Coin that.
Oh, they hoeing them hoes. But you know, here's a funny thing. Here's another thing you think about it, right? And I think you actually brought this up, so I'm going to remind you of it.
Yo.
When it comes to paternity, it's like that child's inheritance, that child's legacy is all determined by paternity.
100%.
You know, because if somebody, let's say you pass away, right, and you have 2 kids, and one of them kids happen to be in question, right, and there's no paternity record, right? Let's say your other child doesn't like this child, so they're like, you ain't getting all dad's shit. I'm taking it all, and because I don't know if you're really my brother, you know. And now that child that doesn't have paternity test, you know, it's going to have a hard time fighting for his inheritance.
Yeah, and that's you know, I would almost leverage people that are of higher status. I mean, we're talking like multi-billionaires.
Yeah.
When they have children, it's tested. You can't tell me it's not, bro.
Oh, absolutely, man.
When you got that kind of liquidity at your hand, you know, but the average Joe, he ain't doing it. And once again, I was that average Joe 15 years ago, bro. I would have said, oh, okay, babe, let's go. Woo, it's baby number 2.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it could have been one of my bros. Like you said, don't trust anybody. How many diabolical plans have been hatched like this? Hold on a second. How many diabolical plans have been hatched like this? Chick gets pregnant by one dude, and they're in a friend group, and he knows, she knows, and she latches onto another dude. That's what Glenn's saying about, dude, you know that's happened. Come on, man. You don't think that hasn't happened before. Come on.
Yeah.
they be hatching them plans, man. And so that's a thing, and it could be the dude saying, hey, man, I can't do anything for you. I know you don't want to give this baby up.
Mm-hmm.
But, Chad over, well, we won't use Chad. Mike over there, he's about to graduate college.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy, man. I've known him since high school.
Like, he would love to be a father. I mean, he's the father type.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got blonde hair like me, and so
everybody thought we were brothers growing up.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, literally, even the girls did.
Yeah. Like, no, I'm serious. Like, like I can see that shit. Like, again, don't trust anybody when it comes to these paternity tests.
Yeah.
No,
it's
like
important.
what you want to know for certain everything else. You want to verify everything else, every other important decision or event that happens in your life. Most people tend to be very meticulous and detailed and want to know for sure. Why not when it comes to your child?
Exactly.
I mean, all you're requiring is people just to be honest and accountable.
My daughter's 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get a paternity test. Like I said, I'm that guy 15 years ago, but I wasn't aware like I am now.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. Her mom, she's like your ex-wife.
She one of them.
She a special one. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the ones that belong to the streets.
Yep, universal lesson right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all good, but once again, in this day and age, understanding how legacy works, men work really hard for what they have and what they provide for their tribes. And we're not ostracizing anybody that isn't a tribe member. There needs to be a choice there. Hey, I understand that's not my child, but I've raised him for 12 years and he's going to be 18 and 6. I love him like my own. I can look past that.
Yeah.
But I'm divorcing you. You see what I mean?
Absolutely. There has to be a consequence to it. And you know what? Like, I get why they're saying like the child shouldn't have to suffer. And that's true. The child should not have to suffer. Either the parent that is actually the biological parent needs to step the fuck up and do what's right. Because any man here's another thing, guys. Like, I don't find any guy that calls himself a man that abandons his responsibilities, like raising his child, a real man. Nope. You are a male. Okay, you are a dude. You're just a piece of shit male. Okay, because you don't even think about calling yourself a man, because you know what? We are men. Okay, we know men, and real men don't do that. Okay, men that high value men, and I'm not talking about just money value. Okay, there's more about being high value than what's in your bank account. Okay, high value of integrity and morals type of men are not going to leave their children abandoned. Yeah. Okay. But these fake guys that masquerade like men, they are pieces of shit. And I'll call them straight out. If those ones are the ones that, and I'm not talking about the ones that don't know. I'm talking about the ones that do know and then choose to continue not to be responsible. All right. Because now you're putting your responsibilities on another man. And that shows us how much of a man you're not.
Exactly.
And
you gotta, it's crazy, man. And before we part ways on this one, we talked on another stream about hookup culture a little bit. We determined that it was pretty much primarily women that had access to hookup culture, and it's been verified on other streams all over YouTube. I mean, you can pretty much, these people have.
Rollo Tomasi, himself said hookup culture only exists for 4.5% of men and 100% of women.
Amen. There it is. I was going to let you coin that. Whose show was he on?
He was on Jedediah Billa's show.
Yeah. So you guys want to go check that out.
And you can thank me because I sent the super chat.
That's why we dropped it down. There it is. Yeah. But the thing is like understanding that women participate 100% in hookup culture and only 6?
4.5, I think.
Oh, 4.5%. Understanding that statistic alone should give you caution when dealing with a woman, especially if you're under the age of 30.
Especially if she is not trying to bone the fuck out of you the first time you meet. Because if she comes around the corner like 6 months later and says, you know what, let's give it a shot. What happened about that first night? You don't want to give me a shot then? Questioning you. And it's like, And we'll wrap here. Like we'll wrap here with this last statement, and I'll get your final thoughts too. You know, we we're support of families. I mean, the saddest thing is to see families break up, and especially after they have years built up together. And something like betrayal, dishonesty, the destruction of trust onto to some magnitude like that. I mean, that is catastrophic. That doesn't, it ruins a child's life. Think about the child that growing up for so long thinking that this man is his father, and come to find out that not only was he lied to, the husband was lied to, and now you have ruined both people's lives.
Yeah, man.
I mean, you might as well just bring that up from the beginning and figure it out then. And I think, a lot of women probably don't realize that guys being the romantics that they are naturally, I could see men overlooking that indiscretion. I have a story. I'm going to tell you a story.
Let's go.
I have an older cousin. All right. And we were talking about this maybe about a year ago, this topic. And I was made aware of something I had never known. My cousin, who's about maybe 10 years older than me, he's close to your age. Yeah, he's about close to your age. And we were talking about this, and he's like, you know what? I was like, what? He goes, my son? I was like, yeah. He goes, it's not my son. I was like, what? Dang. I was like, when did you find out? He goes, I always knew. He goes, my buddy hit me up one time. He goes, hey, I see your girl out the club, blah, 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 with so-and-so. And so-and-so used to be her ex or whatever. And he knew about it. It was, they had a break. They were in the middle of a break. They kind of like parted ways, but they weren't broken up officially. They took a break.
Yeah.
And sure
never
enough,
do that with a woman.
No. If you guys take a break, it's over. Okay. Yeah. It's over. And sure enough, when the baby was born, he did the paternity test and he knew. And guess what? He still married her. He still married her because she was honest with him. She didn't break his trust. She didn't. Now you could call him a cuck all you want, and that's fine. I mean, technically, she chose to step up. But the idea, the fact that was like, he told me, he's like, she didn't lie to me.
Yeah.
When it came down to it, she told me when I presented to her, did you sleep with so-and-so? Could he not be mine? Could the baby potentially not be mine? She goes, yeah. And then he's like, but we won't know until the baby's born. And you know what? He's like, fine, you can have the house. I'm going to go stay at my parents'. And this is the house that he bought. And he wanted her to have the house during the pregnancy. He's like, and then once we get to that bridge, we'll cross that bridge and see what we're going to go. But the fact that she was honest. So I'm not saying every guy's going to be like that. Not going to say every guy's going to be like that.
No.
But he realized it was her honesty, and knowing that like her being honest meant she was going to lose everything. Because my cousin is a big construction worker out here. Like, dude, he business. Big business, like millions, right? And she knew if by her being honest, she would lose everything. And she chose to be honest, risking losing everything. And he's like, I could live with that. I could live with someone being honest with me. I can't live with someone being dishonest with me.
Man, and here's the thing, though. She broke it down. She owned her shit. And then what he did is he said, hey, I love you. I'm going to raise this boy like my own.
Yep.
And once again, he had a choice. He made an informed decision.
Exactly.
I think I've heard that before from somebody, Glenn Lawrence. But that's the thing, right? Yeah. It's Glenn Lawrence presents. But the thing is, you got to respect that, man. When he's in that situation and he says, okay, well, he recognized, hey, that this child's not going to have much versus a life in my realm. He's going to have many. And you got to respect that, and so, conventional wisdom would call him a cuck because he's raising someone else's child. But once again, his sticking point is the honesty, and you got to respect that because, you see it time and again. The Tates talk about it. Rolos talk. Everybody talks about this in the red pill space, and it's A guy will take a 7 over a 10, a 6 over a 10, if she treats him right, if her personality is there, if she is honest, if she's ticking all these boxes, he will step down instead of dating up to get that kind of access.
Yep.
And so you got to respect the girl for telling the truth, man. Kudos to her, man. You know what I'm saying?
And here's
because that took some stones, man. That took some real fucking stones to look him in the face and say, man, I fucked it up.
Yep.
I fucked it up. And
here's the other thing. Like, when people say they come and here's the thing this is where I would question this fear. Living in your frame is your choice. It's not decided or determined by whatever the manosphere or the red pill says. Frame is something you control. So if he was living in his frame and he made that choice because he wanted to, how is that not one of the most red pill things in the world? Like making your own decision for your own frame.
Yeah, man.
That's rule number 1 in the 9 iron rules.
Yeah, it is. And that's the thing, right? Is, like I said, mad respect to him, but mad respect for her for telling the truth, dude. Because here's the thing, man. I'm going to say this is going to be horrible. And once again, I love women. But I would say 99% of the women out there would lie in that situation.
You forgot the 0.9.
Yeah, 0.9, 99.9. And the reason why is you alluded to one thing. Your cousin had his shit together. His businesses are very successful. So he's a man of status. If you're making over 10 grand a month, you're already in the top 1% in America as a male. And so the thinking is, when a woman has access to that and she showed the stones to say, hey man, I fucked up. You got to respect that. You got to respect
it shows you 2 things. 1, she's honest.
Yeah.
And 2, she respects him.
That's a ride or die.
She respects him enough to let him know that she did something so egregious that she could be removed from his life. And she would be willing to take that loss. Like that's respect, dude. That's respect.
Yeah.
And again, you can call him a cuck all you want. He's happy with his life. You know what? I know damn well nobody will say it to his face.
Get them fucking teeth knocked out.
Shit. But guys, like that. So the moral of the story I'm trying to say is that, ladies, if you never know how much honesty and respecting him would do, even when you make mistakes. You never know how far that could actually take you, rather than being dishonest, because being dishonest will destroy whatever you built.
Yeah.
But the honesty might be your saving grace.
A woman being dishonest to a man zeroes herself out.
Ooh.
She zeroes herself out.
Dude, that is the quote of the night.
Think about it like that. I mean, because here's the deal, man. If he catches on to that shit, he's only going to take that so long, especially if he's squared away. Now, once again, unfortunately, Glenn, most of these men in America are in the West. We'll just call it the West, are extremely weak, and they do not understand that. They put up with so much shit, and that's why this is going on. So these outliers, like what Glenn shared here earlier on the stream, was, this gentleman in court with the news. You got to think about that. How you don't see that all the time. That's because a lot of dudes are going to lay down and take it, or not even ask the question. And so my closing thoughts on that are: quit thinking with your dick, think ahead a little bit. Be diligent with your legacy, because man, your time is your most valuable asset, and your legacy and what you're building is the second most valuable asset to you. Okay. And who you allow to have access to that legacy is your decision, because you control access to the relationship, my friend.
Absolutely. Can't said it better. Well, with that, guys, peace.
Peace.